Broadway in Chicago is back with another one, y'all. The critically acclaimed best-selling novel Water for Elephants comes to life on stage in this unique spectacle-filled musical. It's about a young man who jumps from a moving train to make a new home with a traveling circus. There he finds a life and love beyond his wildest dreams. There is puppetry, acrobatics, and circus stunt work. But here's the catch. You can only see it at the Nederlander from June 23rd to July 5th. So get your tickets now at BroadwayInChicago.com. The Museum of Science and Industry's Anne Frank The Exhibition is now open. The exhibition features a pioneering experience outside of Amsterdam to really immerse visitors in a full-scale recreation of the annex rooms where Anne Frank, her family, and 4 other refugees spent 2 years hiding to evade Nazi capture. It includes more than 130 original artifacts from the Anne Frank house in Amsterdam and is designed for adults and children ages 10 and older. All tickets include the exhibition audio guide in English and Spanish. Get your tickets today at griffinmsi.org.
Hey, executive producer Simone Alicea here, and at the end of today's episode, we've got a sponsored segment from Enjoy Illinois. Carol Hoffman from the Southernmost Illinois Tourism Bureau is going to talk with me about the food and drink scene in Southern Illinois, from legendary barbecue spots to local wineries and hidden gems worth the trip. So stick around, because you just might find your next great meal a few hours outside the city.
Today on CityCast Chicago, you have probably seen the pics and videos, but Chicago has been rocked by recent storms, and from what I'm hearing, it may not be over. Plus, I've got neighborhood recommendations for the Obama Center, and we're hearing from our listeners and readers. It's Tuesday, June 16th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. I've got executive producer Simone Alicea in the building with us. Simone, how you feeling? How was your weekend? You get outside?
I did. I went to 2 parties on Saturday, Jacoby.
That's a lot, y'all, for Simone. It's usually -3.
Yeah. And so it's summertime. We're out here. We're doing it. It's happening.
What neighborhoods were the parties in? Did you have to navigate other festivals?
I had a lot of traffic.
Oh,
yeah, because I was down in Chinatown for a friend's birthday party, and then another friend up in Andersonville was doing like a post-Midsummer Fest kind of hang. And yeah, so I was back and forth across the city all day Saturday.
100%. I feel that. I went to Giant, which, if people have been listening for a while, is one of my, if not my favorite restaurant in Chicago. I absolutely love that place. All of the people there. Shout out to Melissa, their GM. But getting there, 30 minutes late trying to get through the Caravans on Friday night. And y'all know me, I love the Caravans. Fly your flag, like roll through the streets.
Because of Puerto Rican Fest, primarily.
Yes. Have a damn good time out there. But you know, when you in the car, a part of you is like, I go home.
You got to breathe, Jacoby. You got to practice.
It's 11. I absolutely love it. My niece, Cammie, graduated from 8th grade and is headed to Kenwood. So shout out to her. Spent a lot of time with my family this weekend. Got to see my other proxy niece, Mia, who just graduated from Marist, headed down to U of I. And then I got to see the Sox win the series against the Dodgers, where at one point they hit 3 home runs in the bottom of the 6th. It was honestly some of the most fun I've ever had at a Sox game. The building was rocking, the camaraderie with all the people around us. It was a damn good weekend overall. Honestly, it was one of the happiest weekends of my life, all things considered. And so, yeah, if you can't hear from my voice, I was partying and celebrating all weekend. So, but I am happy to be here, Simone, because we get to start this conversation talking about what has become one of our low-key favorite things to talk about, and it's the rise of the robots in Chicago. You haven't seen them in your neighborhood, but they are around there.
I'm trying. I keep trying.
You are actively trying to get a food delivery robot.
I really am. So, because they've been up here for a while, and I just want to see. You know, I'm a journalist. I need to see what the experience is like. I'm just trying to gauge what the thing is. So every time I order, and it's like, oh, do you want an autonomous delivery? I'm like, yes, please. And it just is never. It's never shown. But now, even after, months of me trying to get the robots to come, we know that food delivery robots are rolling in To the south and west sides, Jacoby.
Yes.
The pilot is expanding. What was your reaction to this when you saw it?
One, I wanted to know which alder person approved this, and it happened to be William Hall, who we just talked about last week. Our friend at Block Club Chicago, Atavia Reed, wrote about Hall trying to start a independent pharmacies pop-up in his ward, in his neighborhood, to counteract the Walgreens that have been shuttered over the last year and a half. And Wall, in a similar fashion, is talking about access on the south side. He's seen these delivery robots in the West Loop and on the north side, and in some places running through bus, like the glass at the bus stop. But he said he wants the restaurants on the south side to also take part in this pilot program to see if Chicago will allow these food delivery bots to be here permanently. And so parts of the 6th Ward will be seeing these rolling out soon. So that covers parts of Greater Grand Crossing, Inglewood, Chatham. We've talked about some of the great restaurants along 79th Street and 75th Street. And so there's a lot of places over there like Soul Veg City and Mabe's Sandwich Shop and Brown Sugar Bakery and AZ Smokehouse. There's a lot going on over there. I just went to Hibachi over on 79th. But you know me, I am interested to see how these delivery robots do on the south side. I'm interested to see the videos that come out of it. I'm interested to see
I think
people.
the content will be great at the very least.
I think the content is going to be fantastic because I remember like when the scooters were rolling out in Divvies, like with everything else, they were slower to get to the south side. And once they started popping up and my mom being like, where all these scooters come from? Where all these bikes come from? The idea that she's going to be running her errands and be like, Kobe,
I need someone to be filming the moment your mother encounters a delivery robot.
Bug-eyed robot rolling down King Drive. What's going on out here? And then I got to explain it to her. So I'm really interested to see how this picks up, to see if it helps the businesses on the south side. Like we've also talked about the catch-22 of more technology, maybe that provides more opportunity for the local businesses, but it also means for people who rely on delivery drivers increasingly in recent years have more competition. And so I'm always concerned about how it's going to impact people's employment and their experience with their delivery. I'm also interested to see if restaurants on the south side are up, are excited for these. But, you know, shout out to Alderperson William Hall. If your ward got it, my ward should have it too. I'm not entirely against that kind of philosophy, even though I don't want to see any more of these on the streets. But they already here. They already here. Simone, talking about what I was seeing on the streets this weekend, I don't know about you, but it felt like everywhere I was, there was still broken tree branches, completely uprooted trees. I saw some smashed glass with the cardboard boxes over it until people get their replacement. And, you know, I'd love to say that was it. That was the sort of storms at the top of June, and we are past it. But I think you are here to throw some water on my fire.
Yeah, unfortunately, the National Weather Service.
The face, it was Kobe.
Yeah, make me the bearer of bad news, I suppose. Yeah, the National Weather Service is predicting strong to severe storms today and tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday. Last week, right, I think we all experienced, especially that Thursday storm, right? That moved in so fast and so hard. Like that rain was crazy. It was dark. You kind of had that like green, yellow sky thing. And we did see across Illinois and Northwest Indiana, although not so much in the most proximate to Chicagoland, some like 29 total tornadoes between Thursday and Friday. The power outages, Jacoby, right? There were still well over 10,000 ComEd customers without power as of Sunday. The city said that there were some 10,000 reports of downed trees by Friday. Traffic signals were damaged, still out. Our producer, Michelle Navarro, was just telling me that some of the traffic signals on Archer are still out as of Monday.
Yep. I was coming up Jeffrey from about 89th all the way to where you turns into Lakeshore Drive. A ton of stoplights were still out.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you have the flooding risk, right? Those rains are really heavy. We still saw some heavy rain even on Saturday and Sunday, and so that
Hmm.
flood risk, the flood warnings are come up. I think a lot of us had that experience, Thursday or Friday night, where those alerts go off on your phone, and like it's kind of, I know I had a friend out in kind of Oak Park area. They heard the tornado sirens out there. Like we are kind of in the season, right? And we've experienced this the past few summers, right? Right as it starts to get that humid, hot weather, we also see these kind of storm systems moving in. We've had so many of these big storms. We know that flooding is increasingly a problem in Chicago, particularly in sort of the flood prone like basins, right? Southwest sides and the way that like the infrastructure is kind of built in those areas, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say even as early as April this month, we were getting reports that Illinois was topping out like FEMA requests. Like this has
Yes.
been a particularly, at least in recent memory, like a particularly tough start to the storm season for us, at least compared to the last few years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had so much rain in March and April, and there were some big storms in March too. And speaking of
Hmm.
FEMA, right now there's a real fear that like, despite the damage that we've just seen from these storms, if there's more damage from these upcoming storms, there's a real question of if Illinois will be able to get FEMA
Oh,
assistance, right? So
FEMA is
like,
used like a political pawn so often. You see it, I think, across the country during hurricane season. If the person in the White House and the governor of said state are not on good terms, you can see people using that as leverage. Oh, they didn't come fast enough, or they didn't come walk with us, and then you
well,
also see the Trump administration using FEMA aid as a way to continue their sort of punishment and vitriol towards Democratic-led states and cities.
yeah, there's some data to back this up. In March, Politico and E&E News did an analysis that found that Trump approved just 23% of disaster funding requests from solidly blue states, so Democratic governors and senators, right? By comparison, Trump approved requests from solidly red states, 89% of the time. So like that disparity
Damn, I
is
I didn't.
is
Honestly, I did
documented.
not read
Yeah.
that number before you said it.
the
Jesus.
the Tribune has put out a report about this because this is especially, right. We were asking for requests for aid for the 2025 storms in July
Hmm.
and August. That Trump denied. Trump denied the request for the August storm twice. One of those denials during Operation Midway Blitz, when he was pretty explicitly, using all of the federal government
All
as a
federal money.
political,
Yeah.
like, cudgel against states like Illinois, right? It's interesting because the governor has even sort of started to, and you're seeing state leaders begin to kind of shift their strategy in response. There was a tornado in Kankakee this year, and Pritzker opted not to seek a disaster declaration and instead sought loans from the Small Business Administration, which, they're able to basically, Small Business Administration, they can issue these loans without like presidential declarations, but they're still loans. They're low interest, but they're still loans. They're aimed to cover, homeowners, businesses, and nonprofits. But it's different from getting a grant to cover personal expenses like temporary housing, which is what FEMA provides, right? These FEMA requests, we've talked in the past with some of Chicago's past storms about how like the FEMA funding often is not, it doesn't cover
It's not
everything
enough to
by
begin
far.
with. Yeah.
Like it's usually a start for people to just like try to get back to baseline, to start to get normal again. So to not even have that, could really spell disaster in a place like Chicago, where we are seeing these storms again becoming annual occurrences, just how destructive they are.
Yeah. And I mean, again, I've brought it up a few times. If your home is impacted by flooding, the cost that you have potentially for carpet replacement, like to replace things that may have been important to you in your basement, but then what that says about your home potentially structurally and what you may have to do to your foundation, like those prices can really start to pick up. Don't let there be mold long term or electrical damage or something like that. These costs can really start to monopolize. And I think we had this conversation some years ago, like basement flooding in Chicago when I was growing up was so commonplace that we didn't really talk openly about the ways it impacts. We didn't talk about it like it was a natural disaster. Tornadoes were something that happened in Southern Illinois. Hurricanes didn't happen here. Wildfires didn't happen here.
They can happen in Chicago, by the way. Tornadoes can't hit Chicago.
I've since learned
Common
that,
myth.
I have since learned that. But given that flooding is like one of the most common, if not the most common, sort of weather-related incidents that people deal with, like I've come to realize just how taxing it can be on families year after year, rainy season after rainy season. I would encourage people, if you are walking through your neighborhood, visiting your parents, grandparents, or friends, and you see how wrecked people's neighborhoods are, maybe reach out to the local chambers of commerce, the local advocacy groups, the local small businesses, and see if there is a cleanup or some type of initiative that's going on in your area to try to participate.
You report down trees to 311. And of course, power stuff's all going through ComEd, and they are certainly working their way through. Hopefully, by the time you hear this, most everyone's power is back. But yeah, those are kind of the two.
Yeah. If you want to read more, make sure you are subscribed to our daily newsletter. We wrote something up in today's edition. You can subscribe at chicago.citycast.fm. The weather is finally warming up, and maybe you like me and you dreaming about getting away, right? Maybe getting outside your comfort zone, taking a break, relaxing by some water, seeing something brand new. But what if I told you ain't gotta go quite as far as you think to accomplish all of that? That's because Illinois is literally in the middle of everything. We can get out in nature in breathtaking state parks and an epic national forest for hiking, biking, all around adventuring, or explore Illinois' small town charm, or visit some of the state historical sites like Lincoln's Crib, or maybe embark on the ideal road trip celebrating 100 years of Route 66 with giant attractions along the 300-mile route. Or maybe we just go ahead and kick back in Chicago. Finally take in the lakefront, the museums, the shows we promised ourselves we're gonna do all year and never get around to. However you're looking to get away, even if you stay at home, find just what you're looking for and a little more at enjoyillinois.com. If you've been meaning to check out An Enemy of the People at Timeline Theater, don't wait. Yeah, they've extended the run, but it must close June 27th. In case you haven't heard any of the rave reviews about the show, it's Amy Herzog's new version of Henrik Ibsen's masterpiece. An Enemy of the People follows this small-town doctor who raises alarm about a public health threat and slowly but surely ends up becoming the target of the very community they're trying to protect. With 4 stars from the Chicago Tribune, the show takes on big questions about integrity, truth, and what happens when standing up for what's right puts you at odds with everyone around you. The kind of theater that people are still talking about on the way home. Plus, you get to see the Chicago premiere at Timeline's new home at 5035 North Broadway in Uptown. I was just driving by it and it looks beautiful. But again, An Enemy of the People must close June 27th. So get your tickets now at timelinetheater.com. Simone, you and I have definitely been talking about this for pretty much the entirety of our 5 years here, and that is the long saga that has been the development, construction, and now forthcoming grand opening of the Obama Presidential Center and Library.
It's actually happening, Jacoby. It's here. It's the weekend. Juneteenth.
Jackson Park is revving to go. I've already seen some organizations announce their conferences at the Obama Center this year. People are already starting to reach out for private events. I got to visit in early May on the second day of the soft launch, and I will say I did enjoy my time there, despite the push and pull, love-hate relationship I've had with this entire saga. It is finally here. The museum is open despite all of the tickets selling out very fast.
Yeah, if you were planning to try to partake in the festivities this weekend and you're like, yeah, I'll just pull up.
I'll just walk up. I'll just pull up. And I know some people are doing that. People who got tickets, hotels, had the whole thing planned thinking they was going to get tickets, and they did not. But you can still enjoy the grounds. There are parts that you can access. The 82nd branch of the Chicago Public Library is opening. And again, I'm just excited that this moment has come. and that we're going to be on the other side of all of the fanfare and rush soon enough. But I was there watching some of my elders take it in. And you can see how much it means to them. I was watching alongside some long-term Woodlawn residents and people who thought they were going to be annoyed by the change in Jackson Park, and they were pleasantly surprised. And so I'm excited to see people's reactions to it, people's take on the campus and the building. But obviously there's so much more going on in Jackson Park, Woodlawn, Hyde Park, South Shore than just the Obama Presidential Center.
Jacoby, you used to live in that area. And so like, I think obviously there's going to be a bunch of folks who are there who are not normally hanging out in those areas. And like, there is a lot to do, places to eat, things to see. So Jacoby, I'm wondering if you can give us like a little neighborhood guide, some other places that folks should check out, once they've finished their tour, trying to get into the event, or they've decided the crowd at OPC is too big.
It's too big. So yes, throughout my life, I've lived pretty much on all sides of the Obama Presidential Center. And I've gotten to see with family in all of those areas how it has impacted the neighborhood. And one of the things I've been excited and have been allowed to get really optimistic about is there's some really great businesses over there, some really great organizations that are really looking forward to this foot traffic, who are really hoping that this brings new energy and new light. One in particular I can think about is my homie Q over at 7323 Chicago Cafe. It literally right down the street from where I grew up. It is off of 66 and Woodlawn. And this is a small cafe and restaurant that is inside of an old shipping container. So like what you may see over at Boxville. But Q has some of the best sandwiches on the South Side. He just started making homemade ice cream sandwiches. He's got smoothies. He's got mini cheesecakes. He's got wraps. And he's in that crate like 11 to 7 Wednesday through Saturday, and then hours on Sunday as well, just sort of busting it away and watching him. Because, if you're a business now, you also got to be a social media entrepreneur and a marketer. You got to do everything. And so like the fact that he's been there for some years and now all of this energy is coming to the neighborhood, I'm really hoping people stop by, show Q some love. He's going to have some Juneteenth events coming up this weekend that people can stop by and check out. He always throwing something on the grill for the people in the neighborhood. Another place I love, and I'm excited for us to do a partnership with them later this month. We're going to give y'all all the details, but that's Build Coffee and Books. The new owners have been there for, I think, almost 2 years now. Just how close they are to the Obama Presidential Center. I think it's the closest coffee shop that's not like on the campus. I think it's the closest coffee shop.
It also has your favorite breakfast sandwich.
To the Obama Presidential Center, and has one of my favorite breakfast sandwiches in the city. Me and Tay still talk about the olive oil cake that we got there about a month ago, the pecan pie latte. I am going to be at Build Coffee next weekend enjoying the 61st Street Farmers Market. And so if you're in there in the area for the OPC or anything else, you can catch me next week at Build Coffee. And then one other place that I'm really excited for because it just reopened, and that's the Stony Island Arts Bank. And this is a building that was purchased by Theaster Gates, the artist, maybe a decade ago now, and it's gone through some iterations. It houses the Johnson and Publishing Library, the Frankie Knuckles collection, but also a new Korean-inspired tea house and cocktail bar. And so it is art gallery meets cocktail space meets private event space. It was very beautiful. Like if you go to the bar or the tea out, like the tea salon, you don't have to pay for an extra ticket, so you get to take in the entire building. They have an outdoor space as well. They've been working extremely hard to reopen in anticipation of the Obama Presidential Center. And again, I just think there are a ton of businesses that are located in and around here. I'm going to be talking about Miyagi Records in my good news later. And so, who's going to benefit the most is probably that McDonald's right there on Marquette, Estonia.
Where else can you get a burger? Jacoby, there's got to be another place to get a burger that's besides the McDonald's.
Oh, no, that's a really good question. Right over there, let's see, where can you get a burger that isn't Small Cheval or Five Guys? There is Can't Believe It's Not Me on 53rd Street.
Oh, for the vegans among us, the vegetarians among us.
Maybe Dawn Eatery. That's like one of the best brunch spots in That area sits right across from the Museum of Science and Industry. And I've only really gotten their breakfast, so like the pot roast and grits. But I'm
Ooh,
wondering
that
if,
sounds good though.
oh, it's my mom's favorite thing there, without a doubt. But I'm pretty sure, in addition to the po' boys, the vegan breakfast tacos, they also got a classic smash burger that you can get as well. And it's only like $15, $16.
Okay.
And Don is a really good spot. And so, yeah, you don't got to go to Five Guys, McDonald's, Small Cheval if you don't want to. But again, somebody who do love a good Small Cheval burger,
Hey,
it is in walking distance from the OPC and has one of the best murals on the South Side.
the other fun thing is if you like take the 53rd walk, right, you can see the Obama Kiss Rock, right, where the Baskin and Robbins that where they had their first date and had their first kiss. And I think Valois is there too, right, on 53rd.
Yeah, Valois is right there next to the Silver Room.
Which has
couple doors down.
Which I think also has some Obama connections, as I recall.
Yeah, they got like an Obama breakfast platter or something like that, like Obama's
So if you wanted
order.
to do like a whole Obama's day, right? Like you could really make it happen with your kind of OPC experience.
Couple spots if you on the South Shore side of things. Obviously, Italian Fifi. I'm a rock for it forever. And I do
Italian Fiesta for the uninitiated.
Yeah, I do think the Italian Fiesta right there on 71st in Euclid. I think it might be my favorite, like in the city. I love it. Slab Barbecue is right there. Y'all know I love Baba steak and lemonade. But if you want some good food, you're walking through Jackson Park, I'm going to give you an unlikely place for it. And I have put them on before. And that's Local Market. It is the grocery store off of 71st and Jeffrey. It is right next to that recently shuttered Walgreens. And I think they have one of the best hot bars in the city. I'm talking sweet potatoes, mac and cheese, spaghetti, fried chicken, salmon, full salad bar, full dessert bar, mozzarella sticks with an actual cheese pool, fried shrimp, but the shrimp is still good. Because you go to some places, the hot bar is bad, but then they got like food behind the curtain, like the counter. Like Jewel, for example, they have no hot bar, but like Jewel fried chicken and some potato wedges, still smack. I actually don't think there's a place with as many fire-ass options near the Obama Center than Local Market.
All right. You heard it here first. That's the one.
It's so good. But yeah, 7323 Cafe, Bill Coffee, Stony Island Arts Bank. I've been on all of those in the last couple of months and worth the trip, and then walking distance right off of the campus. I want to give a huge shout out to our readers and our listeners who I feel like over the last few weeks and months have been responding to us more than ever. Like we do it every episode. And I know it can feel a little routine for people. 773-780-0246, your name, your neighborhood, and your idea. But apparently we've been putting out some good prompts between the episodes and the newsletters, and people have been very responsive. And so we wanted to read some of those. Keep them coming.
Yeah, whatever you got. So first up, we've got some World Cup recs. Our producer, Michelle Navarro, wrote up a nice list of places to watch the World Cup. Of course, Chicago not hosting any World Cup matches. But, obviously lots of soccer fans who still want to participate and go. So you should go and check
I've seen them everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
So, some folks wrote in John S., who is a recent transplant from the North Burbs, originally from Vegas, and so was an original CityCast Vegas reader and listener, who asks, in your research to find places showing the game, did any express a team loyalty, specifically looking for a gathering of France fans? We didn't cover that in our list, but Block Club Chicago has an even more in-depth list, and there are certainly some places where, Argentina, so at Barra Eñe, the Colombia national team games are going to be at the Chicago Fire Pitch, German national team games at Dankhaus German American Cultural Center up in Lincoln Square, and the Korean national team games at Talk Korean Bistro and Karaoke in South Loop. I didn't see any that were regularly kind of showing France games, but I did see that the French American Chamber of Commerce intends to watch the Norway match later this month at Recess. Recess is hosting a bunch of watch parties throughout the tournament. And so, John, that might be a place where you can find some fellow France fans later this month.
You can watch it at Alliance Française de Chicago. That is at 54 West Chicago. But also, if you're a Senegal fan, pull up. It's for fans of the World Cup, French fans, Senegalese fans. If you want some place where people are going to be enjoying themselves, snacks, they're going to have lunch, all you got to do is RSVP. I'm going to drop a link for you. But yes, plenty of watch parties.
I'm sure there is. And so, yeah, hope this helps in your World Cup planning. We also got a couple of notes from CityCast Chicago neighbors. Of course, neighbors are members. These are folks who put up a little coin every month to help make sure that, we can keep doing what we do. They also get access to neighbors only events, the ad-free feed. They get a preview of all the events happening in Chicago. And so Tasha sent us a note about Pride and about a Chicago connection to what is considered the first Pride parade. Tasha writes, Craig Rodwell grew up on the north side of Chicago before moving to New York and opening one of the first LGBTQ bookstores. He was involved in the radical gay rights movement before Stonewall, it existed, and was one of the primary organizers of the Christopher Street Liberation Day March, a parade that took place in New York in June 1970 to mark the one-year anniversary of the Stonewall riots. Riots, plural, the protests that erupted after the Stonewall raid lasted multiple days. Tasha goes on to say, I think the story of Pride often gets condensed into a simple one night there was a riot, the next day there was Pride, which somewhat erases the fact that a lot of courageous and hardworking people of all races and genders had been working for decades to build the foundations of an LGBTQ movement, which enabled them to capitalize on the incredible electric resistance that emerged at Stonewall. So I know we've been doing some Pride history, obviously, throughout June. And so really appreciate that addition. Tasha also recommended the author Martin Duberman for some more work on folks like Craig and others who played critical roles in the creation of what we now know as Pride and what is now, I think you and Anna Deshawn talked about this, that there's so much of what Pride is today is just like time for us to celebrate. It's another street fest, another time to, place to kind of catch a vibe. But of course, like the history of Pride comes from struggle, comes from resistance, and comes from specifically those Stonewall riots.
Mm-hmm. This makes me think of the tour we took with our neighbor and friend Mike. Tours with Mike. We did Chicago's queer history through downtown, and he talked about not only some of the sort of iconic LGBTQIA plus figures in Chicago's history, but also the history of that struggle when Chicago police officers were raiding bars and clubs and safe spaces where people's names and their addresses was being leaked and published. Like harassment was something that was being codified in places across Chicago. And it was, folks pushing back, folks organizing, a lot of trans women of color who led this fight and didn't even see the benefits within, the larger LGBTQ community. But that legacy runs extremely deep in Chicago. Our Pride Parade predates some larger parades in places like New York and Los Angeles. And so, shout out for that history lesson. And again, shout out to all of our CityCast Chicago neighbors, old and new alike. Shout out to Stephen R., Al M., Michael K., Jason K., Anna K., and Hillary R., who all recently joined just over the last couple of weeks. Al M. told us they love local journalism and some good news. The voice is shot, but for you, Al, I got you. So yeah, membership.citycast.fm is, the place to go if you want to join this growing community of CityCast Chicago neighbors. We got some exciting things planned coming up soon, so definitely get in on that.
Juliet L. in North Center is also a member, had a reminder for us. Juliet L. wrote in and said, I love the show and want to be able to gift a membership to family members or friends. Maybe this is a good way to get extra memberships sold, especially if you give that option online when checking out. Juliet, I am pleased to inform you that we actually do have that option. You can gift memberships. You can find it if you are on memberships.citycast.fm. You can go to gifts in the menu, and you can gift not only a Chicago membership to your Chicago friends and family, which of course we'd love for you to do, but of course you can also gift memberships for other CityCast cities. So if you've got family in Vegas or you've got family in Seattle, Portland, Twin Cities, Nashville, DC, Austin,
Madison,
Philly, Pittsburgh. Think we got them all. Denver. And Denver, of course, then you can gift those memberships as well. And again, that's at membership.citycast.fm. So you can become a CityCast Chicago neighbor, get the perks. You can gift it to your friends and family. And keep the train rolling.
Yeah, when we were at our live taping at Switch Yards earlier this month up in Logan Square, that new co-working space that just popped up, I had someone come up to us and say they got hooked to the podcast and they started listening because I think their aunt gifted them the CityCast Chicago membership. And so that's really cool to think that is someone's first way of finding out about us is through the gift from someone else saying, so I love this city. I love you. I think this would help you to enjoy the city more, get out to explore it, learn more about it, be more engaged. I think that sounds like an amazing way to make someone feel more connected to Chicago. And so, yeah, get it for yourself. And if you've already gotten it for yourself, get it for somebody else. I want to give a huge thank you to our executive producer, Simone Alicea.
Hey, thanks, Jacoby.
Again, I want to give a huge thank you to all of our neighbors. What you get next depends on whether or not you are a CityCast Chicago neighbors. You see, members are getting our brand new behind the scenes segment where in this week's episode, the team declares Emmy Maxing, this summer's big trend. If you want to know what the hell that is and how we all getting down, or if you want access to the ad-free feed, you got to go to membership.citycast.fm/Chicago and join now. Spoiler alert, Emmy tells some of the best and most outrageous stories on the team. And we just want to embrace some of her Emmyisms. Like, how can we have a more turn summer? And I think it's finding the Emmy inside of all of us. Learn how you can do that as well by sticking around. But for everybody else who is not a CityCast Chicago neighbor and is somehow all of the merch and member segment aside not yet convinced, well, you know what I got for you? I got a segment sponsored by Enjoy Illinois about some of the best bites in Southern Illinois. See, I'm still giving out gifts.
Hey, executive producer Simone Alicea here with Carol Hoffman, executive director of Southernmost Illinois Tourism Bureau. Carol, welcome to CityCast.
Thanks.
So I want to start broadly because I think when people think of Southern Illinois, particularly those of us here in Chicago, we might not immediately think like food destination. What makes the food and drink scene worth checking out in Southern Illinois?
Well, we have farm-to-table options in abundance. We have a lot of fruit farms and local orchards. This summer we kick off with peach season. So lots of peaches and nectarines you can get directly from various orchards. Local businesses will feature them in their menus with special treats, Pop-Tarts, peach lattes, peach teas, peach salads, and all kinds of yummy goodies.
Carol, I got to tell you, the idea of biting into that first summer peach is just like making my mouth water right now. Like I crave it so much.
As it should. Sweet, juicy, sticky, and yummy.
Well, let's talk specifics. What are a few can't miss spots for food? I'm seeing everything from 17th Street Barbecue, Giant City Lodge. Where should people who are hungry definitely make sure to stop?
As you mentioned, there are so many. But yes, Murfreesboro is Illinois' barbecue capital and home of two barbecue legends. 17th Street Barbecue, very popular destination. They run Praise the Lard barbecue competition.
I like the sound of that.
Yes, teams come in from various locations. It's fun to see the sights, smell the smells, taste the product. Then we also have Pat's Barbecue, also in Murfreesboro. Pat Burke was also a founding member of Murfreesboro's winning barbecue team and barbecue legend. So you have two great options right there in one small town.
Well, there's also a growing wine and brewery scene in Southern Illinois. Give me a vibe check. What are we talking about when we're talking about places like, the Shawnee Hills Wine Trail or Scratch Brewing?
Very rural in the Shawnee Hills, so very scenic, lots of opportunity to really kick back, relax, enjoy the forest, the rolling hills, and sample locally grown fruit wines. We have grape wines for most of the trail. Pomona Winery makes non-grape wine, so that means they're using mainly local apples, but some berries and occasionally peaches.
Oh, there it is again.
So you have a different local flavor with the non-grape wines. Scratch is a foraging brewery. They use foraged items out of the forest to create their wonderful different brews. We also have a fairly new meadery. So a Honey Heist Mead Company makes wine out of honey, which is mead. So that is also located right along the Shawnee Hills Wine Trail. So you can see you have a variety.
So let's say someone wants to turn this into a full weekend. We're eating, we're drinking, relaxing. Where do you recommend people stay to get that Southern Illinois experience?
Well, you can actually stay right at a winery.
Oh.
At several of the wineries, Blue Sky has suites above the winery that look out over the vineyard. Von Jakob has farmhouse suites, again, right in the vineyard. But you can also stay right in the fruit orchard at Rendleman's and rent a 2-bedroom cottage. It's kind of a retro era farm cottage and actually be right in the orchard. Look out the window, sit out on the patio, have your own chickens you can watch and collect your own farm fresh eggs. Variety of different vacation rentals, cabins and cottages. Murfreesboro has your standard type lodging if you're looking for a hotel. So we actually have all of those options.
Staying at the winery has got to be that's got to be the way to go, because you don't have to worry about the drive home. You can sample the fare and just go upstairs. It's right there.
Yep. Safety first.
Well, Carol, thanks so much again for joining us at CityCast today.
Thank you.
Again, you want to check out enjoyillinois.com to learn more. We're going to have that link for you in our show notes as well. Thank you so much for listening.
We can't let you go without some good news. Ooh, I can't sing today. I can't let you go without some good news. Shout out to Miyagi Records. They're hosting a Juneteenth celebration this Friday. We have a meditation workshop, coffee, Breadhead Bakery. My homie gonna be in there serving up some great food, music, and so much more. Miyagi Records is in Washington Park, and it's another place that is in walking distance if you're okay with a little bit of a walk. But in terms of a bike ride, it's like a 10-minute bike ride from the OPC. So it's yet another place to stop by if you're down in the neighborhood this week or weekend. Hey, I appreciate y'all for listening and reading. Without y'all, CityCast Chicago literally does not exist. And so hopefully you'll make time for us bright and early tomorrow. I will talk to you then. Peace.